Hey friends. So I've been rereading Sadhguru's book, Inner Engineering. And at the beginning of it, he talks about his own kind of early life. It's kind of the story of his realization, and he describes his childhood a little bit, and then his teenage years and his into his 20s at university and whatnot. There's a kind of it's a very loose chronology and not a thorough or exhaustive exploration, but you just see the picture of someone with an incredibly developed interior focus, and you see he kind of just gives a little bit of a story of how that unfolded and how it culminated in a couple of big realization moments, and then he grew gradually into the role that he now inhabits in the world. And it had an interesting effect on me. Reading it had an interesting effect on me because there's a way in which, for me as a Westerner, I think I've approached realization as a project or as a mountain to be climbed, a thing to achieve, right? Sound familiar to anyone? And I've had some awareness of this in the past. It's not that this is my only my first time seeing this, but even though I've been able to witness my own kind of achievement-oriented approach, and even though I'm aware that that's not really gonna work for realization. Like that might get you certain kinds of success, but it's not the path to enlightenment. It's not the path to deep realization. And so I got that. That's evident to me. That's very clear. And yet I can still get hooked by loops of that kind of thinking within spiritual practice, within my own spiritual practice. Happens to me regularly at home, where I'll envision spiritual growth as a kind of accomplishment or achievement, and I am getting better about going, wait a minute, no, that doesn't look right. I don't think that thing is what I think it is. but I still have to catch it. I still have to catch my mind in those patterns. And what stands out to me from reading Sadhguru's book and this very brief history of his own kind of, evolution as a young person, is that his focus was not on achieving anything. It was just a fascination with these interior domains. His attention was just going, not in an inward focus, like I'm focused on myself or egocentric way, but the vastness of the cosmos that is our interior experience was just endlessly fascinating to him. He talks about his experiences in meditation, how things changed when his meditations went from being eyes open to being eyes closed. And it's had an interesting effect on me because I've found myself in my yoga practice, in my meditation practice, a little more anchored in a place of curiosity and just playful interest. Like, what's here right now? Just allowing my attention to be in the interior, to explore the department of the interior. And that has had a really nice kind of settling effect on the practice. You know, yoga is another one. Yoga is a really frequently achievement-oriented practice in the West, in the States for sure. And I think I certainly spent years and years in practicing yoga in a kind of achievement-oriented way, whereas I think ultimately the discipline is, of course, there's some benefit and there's some real value to the way the body will evolve through yoga, even if there is a competitive undertone or an achievement-oriented undertone to the practice. It's not that there's no benefit, it's just that it's almost like such a small percentage of the possible benefit is available via that approach. Whereas with an approach that simply does the practices, but with a highly present interior focus, all of a sudden the practice is about something completely different. It's like, instead of stretching my body or strengthening my body, I'm exploring the universe. It's like night and day. The difference between the where my mental focus is just creates a huge difference in how it all feels. So I've just been reflecting on that a bit this morning. I'm really enjoying listening to his book again. And I'm deliberately giving myself, I'm deliberately sort of inviting myself into an interior focus as I go into my various practices of the day, especially my morning routine. Because I'm just observing that it changes things. It puts me more where I want to be. It allows me to actually imagine, or when I read Sadhguru's account of how the realizations unfolded that took him to this place of really merging with ultimate consciousness, it looks like a series of unfolding interior experiences that he just had to be available for. He just had to be looking in the right place. It's not about achieving it or pushing through the pain of not having it or being willing to. There is a certain amount of discipline. There's definitely a level of showing up that is not easy. It doesn't happen automatically. It has to be consciously pursued. But I also think so much of that pursuing and the nature of my conditioning as a kind of Westerner, as an American, the nature of my conditioning when I set about pursuing something has a timbre to it that is actually, it's kind of repelling. It's repelling the experience. It's repelling the experience that I think I'm pursuing. And so there's a kind of wakeful discipline, wakeful presence, showing up, being willing to overcome inertia that's required, but then a simple playfulness, a simple putting my attention in the department of the interior, being curious, being interested, and not pursuing the practice in a kind of achievement-oriented way. My daughter may be waking up. I think that's where I am today, folks. I've really enjoyed just being, I noticed that just being kind of steeped in this first few pages of the book, I don't know, the first couple chapters, has colored, it's given a sense of ease to my practice, and I'm really enjoying that, and I'm encouraged by it. I feel like it's setting me on the path in a new way. So yeah, I wanted to share that. Thanks for watching. Hope you'll tune in again. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. See you soon.